Main screen. All right, let me turn the desktop audio up. Mic check, mic check. All right, cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 46 of Zed Daily. And today I have Corey Nielsen from Bloo Hors Stables with us. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm pretty good, man. Like I said before the show, jealous of your background right now because definitely doesn't look like that out here where I'm at.
Yeah, I thought I'd throw it in for those in Minnesota just to hurt your feelings a little bit.
So, so before we get into Zed Run, I wanted to talk about your crypto journey. What was your crypto journey like? And then when did you first start buying into crypto?
Not hardly at all, to be honest. I've known about crypto for years and years and kicked myself for years and years not getting into it. But I haven't really been into crypto much at all before Zed. My son, who just wanted money, he's 14, he just wanted money for his for Christmas. He got crypto for
Nice.
for his Christmas present. So it's definitely coming on fast in this house.
So was it Zed Run and then crypto, or crypto and then
Yeah,
Zed Run?
it was how I got into Zed Run and starting my crypto journey. I don't have any NFTs yet, but I'm starting to shop. Was I actually saw a TikTok where somebody was talking about Zed Run and they just purchased like a $200 horse or so. I was like, that's ridiculous. A horse for $200? That's not even a real horse. So I started playing around and looking at it, and I finally spent, I don't know, it was 150 or 200 bucks. I think I bought a Buterin Z28 Elite, give or take. And I was like, what am I thinking? And I think I raced it for like 9, 10 races, 13 races, something like that. I was like, okay, I can't just play with the small dogs here. I got to jump up. And I bought a few others. And at the time, pretty much everybody was, I mean, you could buy and sell the horses. It wasn't a big deal. It was, you could buy them and people weren't waiting. And then right after I bought them, you couldn't just sell every horse. The market just kind of crashed and went down. But I was like, I can buy these, I can make some money. But as soon as I bought them and started racing them, I was hooked. It
Mm.
was just almost immediately. So my plans to just buy and sell horses and not race them quickly changed.
What was the biggest thing that got you hooked? Was it just the racing aspect, or that you could earn money from these races, the breeding? What was like the main juice that got you hooked?
Good, probably all of the above. Actually, I'm a competitive person. I played pretty much every sport growing up, so the competitive aspect of it. But there's not just a like kind of when there's actually a strategy to it. It's not just this horse wins in this class. I mean, there's a down classing, there's this horse breeds with this horse sort of thing, and it makes a great horse. This horse breeds with this horse and it makes a donkey. So it's, I don't know, it's the strategy of the whole thing, um, along with the races, along with the breeding, along with the crypto either crashing or going up 1,000%. So it's a combination of everything involved with it.
Okay, cool. So you said that you started with a Buterin and then you wanted to level up and kind of move up in the rankings. What did you go after in that next phase? What type of horses did you target?
Well, at the time, horses were still pretty expensive. I mean, like I said, like a month or maybe 2 months after I just joined Zed Run, I think in August of 2021. And I'd say the market or horses really did a huge drop. What was it, like September, October, November, somewhere along that range? So probably August, September, October, at the time I was buying what I thought were fairly expensive horses. I think my lowest horse at the time was a NAC 5 exclusive or so, which I no longer have, but I just really wanted to be a part of the higher levels, and I thought breeding them and going, but as soon as I saw the real monsters that are out there and going, I was like, I gotta go. I gotta be part of the big picture sort of thing. So I got rid of most of my lower level ones, or the ones that just I could tell weren't there while the market wasn't too far down. Yeah, but it seems like it's back up as well, or coming back up at least.
Right. And I think August was right about the time was like the whole NFT boom. So like everything exploded in this month, and then September it was like kind of back to reality, right?
Yeah, that's probably a good description of it.
Okay, so now you came on my radar with Double Malt. So can you tell us the story of Double Malt and how you came to acquire this horse?
Yeah, so not too long after I kind of started getting rid of some of my, I don't know, lesser performing horses or lower. I mean, I pretty quickly realized that, like a Z9 exclusive most likely wasn't going to be one of the monsters out there. And I tried hard for a couple of days to get a horse that looked like it was really good. I was like, I'm going to put, I think it was 4K into ETH. And to start off with, I was first kind of like turned off by the whole transfer of, oh, it costs you this much gas fees, this sort of. Well, I mean, I figured out Umbria pretty quickly, and like, oh, you can transfer and turn it into to WETH pretty easily from ETH and not cost you a fortune. But the first few, I was like, what the heck is going on with that? It costs you $200 before you can even buy a horse. But so I was trying to go get a horse called Lumion. I think it was a Z5 or Z6 Spinny Genesis, but it looked pretty good. It had just a few races, and the buyer just wouldn't come down. I think it was set at 1 ETH at the time. And it was probably around 3,500, 4,000 bucks. And I think I'd put in four grand, but I want somebody to be able to race and play with. Pre-races weren't in quite that much. And the guy just wouldn't, or the girl wouldn't come down at all with it. It's like, fine. I've seen these Z2 Knacks occasionally at least be some real monsters out there. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm not going to get this Genesis horse. And Double Malt came up there when I'll admit I had a couple of drinks that night. I'm like, I'm going to spend, I think it was 0.6 at the time. And I think it was around $2,800. I think it was 0.6 at the time. And Double Malt came along, and I was like, I'm buying this horse. And I was so nervous. I was like, holy cow, I just spent $2,800 on a digital NFT horse, have no idea. And I think I raced her Griffin that evening. It was like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And it was at an 1800, and she came in third. I think she flamed, but I was like, third? This horse should be just crushing it. I was like, oh no. I was so worried. Right, come here. But as soon as I raced her, I started racing her the next day, and all she did was flame. And I think the classes were a bit different. I think she started in class 2, and all she did was flame and win for like first, I don't know, 6, 12, 15 races, something like that. I was like, okay, what is going on? And I got into racing like you guys, Diamonds, and a bunch of the other top ones. And I was like, holy cow, this is cool. It was just so fun to be among the top elite horses. Like, oh, she's sweet. So I just kept racing her, and there's no turning back once you get up to there and going. But she's in a slump right now, so it kind of hurts.
It happens, man. And like, is Double Malt a U-shape horse?
No, she has no down button at all. She can, I think she, in 16, 1800, she has probably, I don't know, 5 or 10, 11 or 12 places combined. I haven't raced her much at 22 or 24, but there's no bringing her back down now.
So, you said Double Malt came across your page. Was this horse named but unraced, or unnamed and unraced?
She was named but unraced. Yeah, and I don't know what drew me to it. It was just I was watching Haku at the time. When I started, by the way, I didn't know about Know Your Horses or Haku or any of those. I just was shopping open seas when I bought my first horse's name. I named it, was unraced. I named it Apollo Elite. I live in a place called Apollo Beach. So I thought, oh, that's cool, Apollo Elite. But I didn't know about any of those when I first started. I was just racing blind, knew nothing. Um, but she came across there, and for some reason, I was like, 0.6 for a Z2 seems pretty reasonable. It's better than the 1E for the Genesis, and I just kind of went for it, and since then we've been playing almost
Yeah.
nonstop.
I'm about the same way with my Z2 legendary story. So you said that it was kind of like that you saw other Z2 legendaries. Was that like the main factor? Was like, okay, I know it's possible that I could get a killer one, but it's also I know it's possible that I could get a shit one.
Yeah, very, very definitely. I was probably shaking like this at the time of my first races, and after the Griffin, it wasn't much better. I probably wasn't gonna like now. If I started, I would probably take 10 or 12 grand and start with a bunch of Genesis or Z2 when the market was lower, and be more educated about it. But I knew there was a risk with it, and I know now I'm probably not going to buy at least at this point, I'm not going to spend the money for a Genesis, but at least on the knack side of things. But I was willing to take the risk on some of those Z2s that are out there, and not only for the racing abilities, but they can have some amazing offspring as well. Um, so that was kind of the plan once I got started, was to, after my initial malfunction, I guess, is to kind of build a Z2 army and their offspring, and either sell them or race them, or a combination of both. So
I like that. So now with Double Malt, did you ever think about selling this horse along the way? Like, had you received offers early days on this horse?
early days, probably not. I haven't seen the greatest of offers on her, honestly, which kind of surprises me because I know early on when that Elo from Know Your Horses came out, I think she was 94th ranked, and that's going to fluctuate. I mean, like you said, they go through um, slumps and huge wins and losses, sort of thing. So I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen more from her. It's tempting if I get received a big offer from her and I could buy a bunch of Z2 sort of thing, but I don't know, unless that great offer comes through, sort of thing. I don't know. I'll keep building an army and racing and building them, and hopefully the tournament schedule and plan really builds out. It seems like they're on the right track. It's just kind of an interesting journey along the way to see how they change and we change and all of that. So
What are some things that you like about the current tournament system and some things that you don't like about the current tournament system?
so I just did a bunch of research looking at some of the horses that either placed in the tournament or won, and some of them they can't win a paid race, or their percentage wins are just, it's nonsense. So I find it interesting that the free races and paid races, it's a different horse. It's not the same horse. You can have a donkey or A-shaped Z2 that can't perform well in paid, but they can be a winner
Mm.
in the free races. Um, I don't know if I like that or hate that. It's kind of gives you hope for all your other horses that are out there. I have several that I don't know. I think they can win on the free races. I'm trying to be careful not to race them too much because of the current class system. I'm waiting for the Elo. I don't know if that's going to be a good or a bad thing. I think it's going to be better because in the current system you can class up your class 3 horse up into the class 1 where they can't compete and can't win a paid race. But I don't know yet. Can they be one of the top free racers that are out there? So I'm still learning that aspect of it. It kind of seems like it from looking at some of the other horses that's the case. So we'll see. I definitely want more tournaments. With my current slump that Double Malt has, it's kind of nice to know that she can just win and not risk any of my own money that's out there. So we'll see. That the next one starts tonight, so we'll see how that goes. I can't get anybody into the pity tournament,
So I agree with you on the free racing aspect, to where it definitely is like horses will compete better in frees. Now, my thoughts behind that was like
Raleigh,
lighter competition.
all right.
You're good. It happens, man.
Raleigh, shush. Sorry.
You're good. My thoughts with the frees is it's lighter competition compared to paids.
I agree with that to a certain extent, but so Double Malt pretty much races all of the same horses in Class 1. In paid races in 16, like I said, she's been in a slump. She's on like a 10 losing streak. Before that, she hasn't gone like more than 3 and 4 in the least place. In paid races, she's in like a 10, but in free races, racing mostly the same horses, she wins at like 25%. I have one of her offspring that she hasn't raced a bunch, but comparing the paid races to the free races, it's just unbelievable. And you look at Magic Exists. I don't know if she or he won I think won the last tournament. You look at her stats or its stats, it's a losing horse in paid races. In free races, it won the tournament. So I don't know what the difference is. I mean, it's facing stiff competition in the tournament and everything. So I don't know. It seems like to me it's a totally different horse compared to free and paid racing, and not just competition dependent.
That is interesting, because it is I have found that my horses do compete better in frees, but like they can still flame and win in the paids, but just like any horse really competes better in frees. I'm not too sure what it is. My thoughts is it's weaker competition, but I see what you're saying, to where you're competing against the same people in Class 1 in a paid or a free. The competition doesn't change, but the performance does.
Right. And I have a couple others that I've been just kind of mixing it up, and I try and attribute it to just the timing of it. Like, okay, they were due for a win, but it happens way too often that it's just an automatic win, or they win so much more often in free against the same horses. Now I'm going to kind of put that theory to the test, not in the pity free races, but in the next competition to see, because it'll be horses that are actually trying to win and be number one that are out there. But I've seen it over and over again, and I don't know what it is exactly. I don't know why the algorithm is different or whatever it is exactly, but it seems differently. I'm telling you, go look up. I think it's Magic Exists is the horse's name that won the last one in the mid runners. You look at their history; they're not a winning horse in paid races, but they won the tournament. I'm sure it could be luck, but if you look overall between qualifying in free races and then winning the tournament overall, is it just a coincidence? I don't think so.
Right. And I do find that it's easier to qualify by racing frees. Like with diamonds, I'll either race him in. I started out by racing him in paids, but just found out it was too hard to qualify. If I raced him in frees, it was a lot easier to qualify. So is that kind of your plan with Double Malt on this next one? Go all frees?
Yep, I made that exact mistake. I was like, I can qualify easy, keeping her in paid and doing that. I know competition has changed and it's tougher, especially in the lower classes who have figured out that you down class and you can just race up and win there. So it's harder to get in the tournament to have those numbers. But yeah, I have no plans. I'm just qualifying in paid races like I did the first few tournaments that are out there, because it was I almost made the A tournament with the last tournament, but I ended up qualifying B, and then I'm not gonna admit I was mad to see the the racers, the horses in the first qualifying or the first semifinal race. I was like, really, I'm racing diamonds. Who are all the other ones? I mean, just some of the top mid racers. Like, this is the first round. This should be like a or the final sort of thing. So I'd really like to see some changes that way into the tournament for some of the top horses that are out there. It feels like we're getting a little bit of shaft. C1 horses at this point. You spend all that money for a good horse, and they win all this money in the classes, and it's so hard to actually win a tournament or even qualify a tournament at this point. So,
right, because in our race it was me, you, Valerie, Vanilla Bean. Just it was stacked, dude. And I'm like, damn, right?
No, it was probably some of the top 10 or so mid distance runners out there for sure. And I don't know if Double Malt gets all the credit she deserves, but she's a good 16 and 18. And she's funny too, because she started, all I raced her initially was 2000. It was nonstop, and I won, and then it kind of changed, and then she went to 18, and then it went from 18 to 16 as her top. So I don't know if the competition changes, or just as you kind of learn about your horse, you figure out which their best is. Probably a combination of both, I guess.
I've heard people say that like distance will change throughout a class. So like maybe in class 3 you'll be really good at 1800, but like in class 1 you'll only be good at 16. So I don't know if that happens for sure, but I've heard people say that like you got to switch up distances as you move up classes.
No, it makes sense. One of Double Malt's offspring, Malted Beast, her win percentage in 1800 is not great in class 3, but in class 2 she wins more at 18 than in class 3. And it seems really strange that it's a different percentage. So I don't know. That's part of what intrigues me about Zed Run, I guess, is understanding the whole algorithm or changes or differences in your horse. And it probably what keeps me going and looking at everything every day, trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay, so you touched on double malted. What is your strategy? Is it that you're going to go breed with other Z2s and then make exclusives, or are you going to go breed with Z1s and make Z3s? Like, what's your breeding strategy with double malted? Or, double malt.
Sure, double. A little bit of both. I bought a Zabo originally. That's her first offspring was Malted Beast with me. She's had others. They bred her before, but didn't race her. And then I bought a Z3 knack called Free Guy, who I got for a steal. I think he's pretty decent. I haven't raced him a ton. I think he's pretty decent in the free races. Maybe not the best paid racer. But he's a Z3 knack, so that was my latest one with Liquor is Quicker. So I have two different stables, so I'm trying to keep in-house just to save money, so to speak, or make it more efficient, but be able to keep them as well. But I'm very tempted to breed her with either a knack Genesis or her offspring with a knack Genesis or another Z2 that's out there as well. So I don't know. It takes a month to figure out your plan, and it kind of changes as you go. So a lot of both, I guess you would say.
Yeah, you're starting from a good point though, because with the legendaries you can make those exclusives, and then as long as you breed those exclusives back into Genesis, the offspring will be exclusive, and then you can just build out a crazy exclusive bloodline to then like have some of the best Genesis horses bred into this horse, to where when you go down to the elite level, it's just so stacked in the exclusive level.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny when you look at the breed type or the levels that some of those exclusives are, they're parents are legendary, and then one of their other parents is a Genesis. Well, some of them are just, donkey Z2 sort of thing, or legendaries that are out there. So I wish that a legendary and exclusive still did an exclusive instead of elite. It's all just, verbiage sort of thing. You can have a great elite that just doesn't have the namesake, I guess, of an exclusive or a legendary. But
Okay. So, getting Double Malt and kind of being all in on horse racing now, like, how do you tell your fan or your friends and family about this game? Like, how do you explain this to them?
that's pretty funny, actually. No, I didn't initially. I mean, when my first horse, I think it was roughly $200 sort of thing, and I didn't give that horse a chance, and whoever bought it hasn't raced it or anything, just enough. And I bought a few others that have come and gone along the way. And then when I decided, like, I'm gonna try and get this other horse, this Genesis Finney, that just didn't work out. I bought Double Malt. I spent $2,800 on this horse. So I was like, I'm not telling anybody. But I don't know. A week or two into it, I realized I don't know how much the horse is worth, but I that's how I phrase it. Like, I spent $2,800 on a digital horse, and they were like, but I mean, it's probably worth, I don't know, at least $20,000 sort of thing. So like, it kind of ease the thing. But I don't know if I would have bought a $2,800 horse and then suddenly it's worth $200, how well that would have went over. But yeah, I just took the risk at this household and hope for the best.
That I love it though, because I took that same risk and it pays off, right? Like, it's not always gonna pay off, but when you take the risk and you do some research, you line it up, you're like, okay, I couldn't get this, I can maybe get a Z2 legendary. This will be the best bang for my buck. I'm gonna buy this one. Oh, it actually turned out to work. Like, that is the best part of taking a risk, right? When it pays off.
Exactly. You don't get anywhere without taking at least some risks that are out there. I wish initially, after that first TikTok that I saw, that I would have realized, all this other information was out there and done the research. And I don't know, I was looking at Open Seas, just kind of looking at horses. I didn't realize, I saw those, like, you don't know anything about the horses, you know anything about the parents. And I don't know why I couldn't figure out that you could click on the little button and go to Zed, and then you can go to know your horses sort of thing. But I wish I would have known that information originally. I would have made a lot more educated decisions. But I've always been a bit of a risk taker and wanted to kind of jump into things. So it's paying off in the long run, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I did the same thing. I mean, I researched the game coming in, but I didn't know you could look at the parents. So if I would have like, same with you, if either one of us would have spent maybe 2 more minutes, 30 more minutes looking at something, someone else could have bought that horse, right? I bought Diamonds, you buy Double Malt, but if you didn't buy it at that exact time, like, or if you would have done a little bit more research and watched someone's videos, who would have known? Like, you could have passed up on that horse, right?
Oh, totally. Yep. It's a combination of education and impulse control, I guess.
So before you had Double Malt, like, did you see the future of Zed Run? Did you see, like, the sponsorships of, like, NASCAR, their funding, or, like, their investments by Andreessen? Like, did you see where this game was going to go without having, like, before you had Double Malt, did you see the vision of this game?
I guess yes and no. I don't know how much I put into the thought of the real future of it. At the time, it was kind of like, oh, I can make money, I can have fun, kill time sort of thing. I like the idea of all that they're doing, and I hope that all the thought and the vision is there to really progress the game. I don't know. Now I see the bigger picture way more than I did initially with it. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully they don't leave our horses sitting in class 1 for 6 hours for a $5 race.
Those are definitely rough, man. So what would you want to see? Because would you want to see sponsored prize pools? Would you want to see, like, juice class 1 pools? Like, what do you want to see to incentivize class 1?
Very good question. I definitely want to see it being a plus going to class one, because right now it's like all my other horses, like I try and do everything I can not to get to class one. It shouldn't be that way. It should be, wow, you're in class one, you're competing with the big boys, you can make some real money, sort of thing. Um, I don't know what the whole answer is. It seems like they're moving away from paid races, which may be a good thing, because we with a good horse you can't lose money. Even with a bad horse you can't lose money once you make your initial investment. So it seems like they're moving more towards the tournament, and I don't know if that means that they're getting their money. I mean, everybody's got to make money. They've got to be in this for a reason. I don't know if they're getting that from sponsorship or moving towards taking a rake on people betting on our races, just like real race horses. And I have no problem with them making money. They've got to make money. They should be in it for a reason, but we've got to be in it for a reason too. So I could see, like a sponsorship or, a tournament kind of heavy schedule for them. So I suppose that's where it's going. It kind of seems like paid races, especially in class one and even class two, are not what they used to be, even for me just a few months ago.
Right. Were you around when the Netflix races ran, the sponsored races?
Yeah, I saw. I didn't even know about it, but I saw a bunch of people that were complaining that they didn't even know about it. I think Diamonds was in on at least one of them, and I didn't know anything about it. Not that I would have. Oh, my goodness. Not that I probably would have spent the money at the time. Still a little bit cautious or frugal in my money spending at this point, just because I'm trying to really build my stable, as opposed to losing a $500 or $3,000 race or whatever that's on there. I want to build it up, and then once I get there, I have no problem spending that kind of money, because I know over time it's going to pay off, sort of thing. But yeah, I saw that whole Netflix, and people were pissed off about it.
Yeah, they did a horrible job, especially the first time around. They kind of did a better job the second time around, at least marketing it and like letting people know. But I spoke about that race because of how fast it filled. Like when you saw how much like plus money you could have got off of a $3,000 buy-in, that race filled within 2 minutes and it was running, right? So I think if they have something like that in day-to-day class one racing, to where it's a juice prize pool for whatever buy-in, then you'll get that frequency to where like those $500 races are just going to be popping off every few hours. I hope, at least.
Sure. I see that exactly too. And especially for those top horses where I don't remember who the deal was with. Was it DraftKings or somebody in the betting side of things, where as a class one, you don't have to put in much money or a little bit of money to get into it, but they have that on a regular basis, and you're not risking that much, but the reward is huge, but not just on a once a month or once every 3 months sort of thing. It's once a week or every few days sort of thing. I see that where that's a big deal, where they're not risking or having to put out that much money, but neither are we with horses that are at the top level. So, and that would really emphasize or want people to be in class one. Seems like a good plan to me.
No, I'm with you, because I'm sure well, I'll ask you this, like, did you want to go to class one when you first got Double Malt? Because I'll say me with Diamonds, it only makes sense to think that you would want to go to the highest class, right? Once you get there, you realize nobody wants to be in the highest class. But coming in as a new guy, it only really makes sense that you'd want to be in class one, right?
It was kind of scary because I said I had just, donkeys may be too strong of a term, but I had horses that weren't up there. And I was just like, I'd seen all these horses' names or people talking about them on Twitter or whatever on there. I was like, and I did my first few races, and my first few races, I was winning a lot. I was doing awesome. I was like, holy cow, I'm racing against Diamonds, or I won, or whoever. So I was super excited to be up there. it was kind of I mean, scary but exciting at the same time. So yeah, I mean, I definitely want to be up there. I want my horses to be up there, but I want them to be up there for a reason. Now it's, as of right now, I would love to be in class 3 with Double Malt
Mm.
because I could race, not just for the money, but I could race more often. I'm, right now, especially with the tournament starting, there's very few races that people are going to go into, and I'm not going to race a paid race probably for the next week with Double Malt. No.
Right. I took it from Al Hambren. Al Hambren said like he didn't race paids because he wanted to qualify for the tournament, and I don't want to like misquote him, but I believe he said it was easier to qualify through freeze with the tournament. So I think like
Yeah.
if you can like not worry about like getting paid for a whole week and then risking it all on one race, like if you're willing to do that, I think that's the way to go for the glory.
No, it's a tough decision. It is. Do you want to make some money during the week, or do you want to put all of your, eggs in one basket and hope for that big win on one race? So, yeah, it's big. I mean, you look at the horses, and any good horse right now, like let's say that's class 3, and even with the new class system, they're going from at 5 points for winning a race, they're going to be in class 1 pretty quickly. So eventually all good horses are going to be up there. Those good horses probably aren't racing in the paid races. They're waiting for the free races to try and qualify for the next tournament, which I was kind of down on the system. Then I thought about that. I was like, okay, so those class 3, class 2 horses that are up there, that moved from there to up to class 1, those are going to be racing in the free races.
Mm.
I'm probably going to beat them. I mean, not to be cocky about it, but it sets Double Malt up there pretty good for getting into the tournament. So eventually, all good horses, unless they're a huge U-shaped horse, they're not going to stay down in 2 or 3 or 4 for too long, especially if they're racing free races to get into the tournament. It just seems like eventually, I don't know, it's going to be a top-laden, tournament-heavy field eventually where all those horses are going to be there. It seems like there's no choice. I don't know. I've tried to do a lot of thinking about it and see where they're going to be, but I don't see how it can be any other way.
Mm.
I certainly could be wrong, but let me know.
All right. So they just came out with a roadmap. They said that they were dropping the Zed Run token. They say that we got renting coming soon. Like what was something that you were the most bullish on coming out of that roadmap, and then something that you were bearish on or that you didn't like in that roadmap?
I don't know what to think about ELO. I think it's going to be good, and I think it's a good thing for everybody. But with that being said, you can't have every horse win. There has to be losers, or people just can't make money. It's just how it goes. I'm excited for the token. I think that's a good thing, especially for, I don't know, Z4 on up. They should be rewarded for taking that risk, for spending that money. I don't know. I'm excited for more tournaments. I'm excited for a lot of things that they have. It seems like there should be more than just one tournament a week. It should be, especially as the population grows and more horses and more people are into it, that there should be more than one. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means you can be in more than one tournament at a time, or it's one tournament per thing. But I see some good things. It's just, I don't know. It's a tough decision and tough way to get up there for sure.
Gotcha. And so if Double Malt performs, like if you do really well in these free races, you make it far in this tournament, is your game plan with Double Malt to stop paid racing and then just race tournaments at that point if you do good in this next one?
I've been kind of anti-free, I guess, for a while. I don't know. I've kind of thought I want to race, I want to bet, I want to make money on that. I see so much money per week, per month going with these horses, but my plan has kind of changed. It's kind of, I don't know if I just see or think that plan with Zed Run has changed, but I see paid races kind of go. Double Malt, I'll probably keep racing paid races, at least as long as they're available. I kind of think that paid races are going away. I'm not saying tomorrow, but I kind of think that they're going away in the next year or so. I might be wrong. That's certainly possible. But my opinion on looking for my next horse purely was on paid races before. I'm not so much that anymore. I'm looking more, they can win a free races, but not paid races. I'm kind of thinking that the future is free races and tournaments, only because I looked at a bunch of horses and looked at horses that couldn't win a paid race or 0% win or, 0% money win or negative in there, but they can win a tournament. If there's one tournament a week or 4 tournaments a week that they can enter and they have a chance of winning those every week, my thoughts have kind of changed from paid to free. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning more from only being in paid races. Like, I wouldn't judge a horse on free races. Like, they can only win in free, but it kind of seems like the environment's changing.
I was with you on the beginning. Like, when I first was making my way up, I totally despised free races. I was like, why would I want a free race? Like, you're not going to get anything out of that, right? Now, you do get something out of it with tournament races, but this is where I think it splits. I think you get the daily racers like Princess of Power, Diamonds, Double Malt. I know you can compete in paids because you kicked my ass when you first came to Class 1 in paid races. So, Double Malt, Diamonds, Artois, I think these horses like could be day-to-day paid racing, and then you'll get like wavelengths, and then you'll get like terms of engagement, like really consistent tournament horses. So I think there'll be like almost 2 brackets, like a day-to-day division and then like a tournament division or category of horse at least. Like, this horse can compete in free tournaments, or this guy can race paid races at whatever, right?
Sure, I can see that too, where they kind of diverge, and maybe there is just like a paid race division. I don't know if that's what they'll be exactly, and then a free race or tournament division. But I guess your horse could technically compete in both, but I can see that being either way. So
yeah, I think you'll be good either way, because I know Double Malt can. You might be on a losing streak right now, but in the long term thing, like 10 something races, nothing. That's nothing.
Yeah, no, I looked at. It's funny when I get in these slumps and stuff. I look at other horses. I've looked at Vanilla Bean. I've looked at yours, and from like around 300 to 600, you didn't win. Not to say that you didn't lose. You just kind of hang steady.
Mm-hmm.
And my horse is right there between like 350 and 600. I'm like, okay, fine. I can get through this slump and see what the future is. It's like at the time that you're in, it's like, what the hell? Why can't my horse win?
Right.
But I don't know. And that has to go with the algorithm and understanding the science and math that goes in. I think it's simple what they do, but at the same time, I think it's really complicated. It's tricky trying to understand all that went into these horses and understand that they're just a digital computer program, so it's trying to understand that's part of what keeps me engaged and wanting to know what's happening with it all.
Right. And then we don't have odds anymore, right? Like, we don't have the hard numbers to look at and be like, this horse has the best odds. So you can't really see, like, you can see who has the flames, right? But even like a horse with high variance could not get flames but always win because he has the win equity, right?
Yeah, see, I came in after odds, like when there were no odds when I started the game. And also I always look back at those horses that have odds, and then I'll compare it with their flames that are out there. And I kind of wish there were odds still. It's fun to see those, they had 5% or 5, I don't know what to count, 5 or 7 odds, 1 to 5, 5 to 1 odds of winning. But you can't just look at those. You've got to look at those horses, and like you'll see a horse that only raced 10 horses and their average odds were 10, let's say. But you look at those first few races. The first one was a Griffith, and they had like a 2 to 1 odd. And then they raced in class 3 and they didn't win, but they still had 10 to 1 odds or whatever. So it's not just looking at those odds numbers, you've got to actually put some thought and look into the competition and who is there and who what's going on with it. You can't just look at all. It's diving in. Like I said, that's kind of what keeps me into the game and going, okay, I got to figure this all out. Eventually, I'm going to be the champion of the world.
I love that, man. I mean, you're already halfway there. Like you've got the puzzle piece to do it. Now it's just really the horse has got to perform in either a tournament race or a big race. Like you just got to put it in the position to win and let the chips fall where they may, right?
Yeah, for sure. Every other, pretty much every other tournament, I've only won in one other tournament. Pretty much every other tournament, Double Malt was going on a huge winning streak, and then she kind of hit the tournament, hit a little bit of a slump. So now she's going into a slump going into the tournament. So I'm trying to be positive here.
You're set up for success. Like for me with Diamonds or Bonnie Parker, I don't own Bonnie Parker, but just any U-shaped horse, it's very hard to like even get to the finals, right? Because like they can go first, third, first, but most of the time it's first, 12, first something,
12, yeah.
right? But you got the left leaning horse to where you can hit the first three, first, second, first, and then boom, finals. Thank you for coming. Like, thank you for your money. So I think you're set up perfectly if you can get there.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about her getting into the tournament, and this will be the first tournament that I'm not doing paid races going into the tournament with her. The other ones I'm going to do free races too. That I hopefully it works out. I think I can get 2 or 3 or 4 into this tournament. How hard is it to get a U-shaped horse into the tournament? Is it pretty tricky? That's a good question. I mean,
it's hard. It's hard. Like I try and game it. Like I guess kind of like you were saying earlier. Like you can kind of maybe like purposely try and I don't know. Like they run them damn selves. Like I try and like think like I'm applying some strategy to it, but he does what he wants to do. If he wants to run last 5 times in a row, he'll do that. But if he wants to win 6 in a row, he'll do that too. So it's 50-50, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. It's definitely tricky that's out there. And I've always tried to figure out too that if so let's say Diamonds is running at 1600 and gets 3 in a row, and then you run 1800 and you get 2 12th places, does that affect your 16th place? I don't think it does. I think each place or each distance is individualized, but I don't know. It seems like you said, have a mind of your own, and trying to figure that out is tricky as hell.
I think Catch Me Riding Derby told me this, and I took it and I've used it myself, and it's actually worked. He's like, when you're losing at a distance, say like you lose at 16, switch to 18. Like if you're getting a bunch of 12s at 16, if you just move up, stay within your distance funnel, but just move up or down one distance, your horse will like get out of a losing streak or something. And I found that to work. So like I've been on a few 12 streaks, switched to 18, got a win, and then went to like 2000, got a win, and went back to 16 and got a win. So I don't know if that's a way to break a losing streak, but potentially switching distances, like but keeping it within the same bracket is maybe a way to snap that.
I don't know. I'm not going to admit I haven't had that luck. But see, you're lucky though. Your horse can win at 1,000 or 2,400. There's not. I mean, it can also come in 12th, like you said, 6 times in a row. But your horse can beat everybody else by 5 seconds at any given race. So one of her offspring, Malta Beast, that's what I'm struggling with right now is figuring out, okay, what the hell do I race her at, or race him as? I've lost 4 times at this. It's tricky trying to figure out what's my next move with a horse. Do I keep racing with this one of losing, or is the next one going to be a win? And as soon as I do go from a paid race to doing a free race, they automatically win. Like, should I have raced at a paid race, or will you came in 12th this last time? I don't know. It's so complicated. It's so tricky, and that's what I'm still trying to figure out. Is it a difference between paid races and free races? I personally think it is a difference between paid races and free races, and not just the competition. I'll have a horse that'll race, 98 seconds at 1600 6 times in a row, And then as soon as I put it to free, it suddenly races 3 races at 90 seconds. Like, it's not the competition that's making the horse race faster. It's the horse or the race option between free and paid. So I don't know. It is a bit of frustration with me right now, trying to figure out which is which with it now.
That's the part of discovery, right? Like, they want you to struggle figuring out this horse. Now, if you had odds, it'd be like, hey, I know where to plug this horse in. He gets the best odds here, go here. But now without it, it's like, what am I doing, right?
I would like to see odds or some, option of that or similar to that come back to it, because I think flames have to do more with the horse's ability than with the chance of it winning the horse. Just kind of my observation with it. I don't know how true that is to 100%. And the thing is that I have horses that will not flame in the same distance in a paid race, but will flame every time in a paid race. Why? I want to understand. And they'll win or be competitive every time with it. So we'll see. This next tournament will be
add it to where you can enter as much races as you want, take away classes, change whatever you want. Only one thing, what would you change and why?
One thing I would change, and it's not a huge change, would change fatigue from 12 hours to 10 hours. Because you race at, let's say, you can get in a few races at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And then by 7 or 8 o'clock at night, you want to get in your full 10 races or whatever. You get fatigued at 5, 6, 7 races. You can't get in a full 9. If you change it to 10 hours, you would be able to race not only in the morning, but in the night and get in more races. Because a lot of people can't race, 20 races a day. You can only get a couple in the morning or night or whatever, vice versa. That would be my biggest change, just because the fatigue, which I think it needs to be a part of it, because you can't have every top horse racing every race of it. I would like to see that change at least slightly, because the ability to get in more races over a given 24-hour would change dramatically as opposed to that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just hard with like a class 1 type horse, right? Because you're not getting your full 8 within that hour span. You might get your 8 within one day, right?
True. Class 1 makes no difference
right?
Except for in free races come tournament time. But as of right now, for class 1 for paid races, that's true. It does not make much of a difference. So I guess it depends on which class you're in, but we'll see how that progresses and changes whenever ELO or the next big change takes effect. So
yeah, I'm 100% with you, man. Well, do you got any questions for me, Corey?
No, man, it was awesome talking to you. I've been looking forward to this. Like I said, I think Diamonds may have been one of the first horses that I was like, I've got to be something like that. So it's been fun, and your whole story that's come along with it, from not wanting to work a 9-to-5 job to be able to just race horses or be part of the cryptocurrency and crypto world is really cool. So I wish you the best and hope it all works out for everybody.
Likewise, man. It's good seeing you on the track. It was great having you on the podcast for a great conversation, man. And you're welcome to come back on anytime, and have a good day. Enjoy the sun, my man.
Thank you, sir. You too. Take care.
Have a good one.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, let me see if I can. All right, let me close this out. Bang, bang, close, close, close. Close that. Andy Mac, Juicy J, what up, homies? Bro, why is this shit bugging? I don't know if we got too much going on today. Let me pull this back over here. Being Blau, right there. And then we'll, Andy Mac, Avon, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Much appreciated, fellas. Let me pop out the chat. We'll see if we can get some racing in today. We'll see if we can't do that right quick. Let me delete all this. All right, guys. So we're gonna hop. So today we got Meta Circus, which is at like 1:30. So we're gonna hop on Twitter Spaces today, which is like 4:30 Eastern. 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. Let me go look at Zook's Twitter. Anybody encountered the gray screen issue? Great conversation. Always enjoy them. Appreciate you, Mundo. Anybody encountered the gray screen issue? I've heard some people having that problem, but personally, I would go look in Zed announcements and see if Zed themselves has said anything. Okay, let me go see what Zook tweeted. All right, let me retweet this. Boom. Boom. Okay. All right. Meta Circus right here. Bang, bang, bang. Meta Circus Twitter Spaces hosted by Pony Zook, Invade Pack City, and your boy, the Evergreen Zed, at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Making money playing video games. You guys can just come chat with us. Come kick it. We're just going to really talk about whatever. Agree. Great interview. Always exciting to hear from wide range of stables. Appreciate your souls. I appreciate my dog. Avon says, how long will it run? I work until 5:30, but would love to swing through. I have no clue. I don't have a time. I mean, I got till like 5:30 or 5 o'clock p.m. till I can go, but I can talk for hours about goddamn many things. So we'll see how long we can go on that. But I don't know. I don't know how long it'll be. That's a good question. I'll have to ask Zook. I'm going to kind of just let him. Okay, Bonnie Parker just sold, ? Great interview, Golden Glow says. I appreciate you, big dog. Let's go look. I saw some of you guys in chat saying Bonnie Parker sold. If so, that's pretty fucking crazy. All right, let's go see if this horse sold. I'll just pull it up on... Dude, I need to reset my Wi-Fi or something. This is straight McDonald's right now. Straight McDonald's Wi-Fi right now. Been town classing for weeks. Just want to run the fib. Hey, what you got? Like a few more hours? A few more hours? Almost there. Almost there. Let me pull up Spotify. Spotizzle. Can you retweet the link, please? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The link. Oh, it's just Twitter Spaces. So you'll like when you come on Twitter, if you follow us on Twitter, you'll come up to the top. When you're on your phone, it'll be like up here. It'll just be like you'll see like purple circles, and you'll be like, oh, okay, that's them streaming. All right. DMCA safe music. Cool. All right, pull this back up. Agreed. I've realized I need to start identifying failures to qualify earlier. Going to start downing in batches now. I think actually considering a down class stable is smart. You gotta do what you gotta do, my man. Can you retweet the link? Yep. So that was just it will just be on regular Twitter Spaces. It's true. Arbitrage owns Bonnie Parker. All right, let's go look. Did he buy it though? Oh, I know they're not doing a breeding deal because I just did a breeding deal with Bonnie Parker. So I know that horse doesn't have any covers. Oh, my God. This shit is being so laggy today. I can text him. I'll just text him and ask him if he sold his horse. I'm going to text him. I'm sad at 382. Reckon I'll be running again. Cut line much higher this time. All right, let's pull up. Man, I gotta reset the Wi-Fi or something. It's big laggy. He said, yeah, it's actually key. By the time you're certain they won't make it, it's usually erased to 12th and freezes. Everyone starts downclassing their losers. I get worried around like 360. Hold on, be right back, be right back. Alright, my shit is straight tweaking today, guys. I don't know what the deal is. I think we'll call it a day from there. My Wi-Fi's bugging, but we got 6 hours left on the pity point. Looks like it was an off-chain deal. We'll see if he responds to my text later on. But yeah, that's it, guys. I'm gonna hop off. 2.0 ETH from what I see. I don't think so. I think that's the last time Bonnie or Upper Moon. I think that's what he bought Bonnie for. But I'm gonna catch you guys. We'll be back tomorrow with Linus Caldwell from Zerga Farms. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. We'll have better Wi-Fi connection tomorrow so we can race afterwards. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. He said, I bred my horse just to see how it goes. Check it out. Let me know what you think. She's called Diosa. All right. If my Wi-Fi wants to work. Yeah, you see how slow this is? Bro, so jealous seeing that functioning. It's like, bro, I can't even really do much because Mundo, I'll look at your horse tomorrow. Come back in and remind me because I gotta reset everything right now because my Wi-Fi is straight garbo. But I'll check out your horse tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow with another interview. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Until next time, peace.